Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, as was the vast majority of crypto and finance. And mainly this overall video is going to be addressing the reset. We're going to be going hand in hand on a few things, talking a little bit about the future monetary system, Bretton Woods 3.0, things like that, and really kind of just addressing a full-on breakdown of what I foresee happening. So with that being said, let's dive in and let's start off with a few things. So this article talks about the global currency reset. Now they do talk about the Bretton Woods system. They also mention the petrodollar deal and of course the global currency reset as a whole. And it all goes down to CBDCs and blockchain-based currencies and things like that. Now, of course, as we look at what's really going on behind the scenes, we know that systemic change is in place. Now, does that mean that XRP is being utilized? Well, we don't know, right? Because we've talked about this. We've addressed a few things going on around crypto, around CBDCs. The thing about CBDCs that is very interesting is we know that there's been discussions going back a couple years ago. I want to say 2017, 2018. I might be wrong on those dates. Don't quote me. Where we've seen global organizations. We're talking about elite organizations here outside of crypto. It's talking about a super currency. Now, what would that be, right? Well, that is a currency that's not necessarily controlled by anyone. It's a currency beyond the scope of a reserve currency. Now, with central bank digital currencies and things like this rising, we even see stablecoins, being discussed, things like that. The question is, how could all of this be settled? What is going on here, right? Well, we've talked about how XRP could be the one. We've talked about how XLM could be the one. We've talked about other currencies. And this is also why I diversify outside of XRP, but there's been so much research done on XRP in the past couple of years, and even I myself have researched countless hours and days and weeks and months worth around XRP, really kind of breaking things down around what I foresee happening. And of course, although it's opinion, I still believe that XRP is a crucial piece. And we know that going all the way back to September 9th, 2009, the United Nations proposed a new global currency. This is 2009, mind you. Now, a lot of people will say, oh, it's Bitcoin then. No, it's not Bitcoin. I do think that there's a lot of distractions out there, and I think that Bitcoin is a big distraction because we know that Bitcoin, it's just, listen, the use case potential of Bitcoin, and we've seen this being screamed around in 2021, buy and hold it. It's a store of value. Well, listen, I can go outside and buy a pack of gum and hold it. Does that mean that gum is a store of value? Does that mean that gum has a use case outside of just, hey, look, I could chew gum? No. That's the equivalent of Bitcoin and saying, let me buy and hold Bitcoin because it's a store of value and the price will just continuously go up. I have news for a lot of these Bitcoin maxis. There's a thing called diminished gains. Bitcoin has already realized this. The gains are diminishing on Bitcoin greatly. I think that the falsified idea of store of value and digital gold, I think that that's kind of wearing away. I think utility is going to become a big narrative eventually. Could be the next year, could be next 2 years. I don't care. I just know that at some point in time, utility is going to matter. If your coin does not have utility in the real world, well, guess what? It will most likely fall flat on its face. Outside of that, the reason why I bring that up is because this is 2009 when they are declaring a new global currency, the United Nations. And what they are talking about is it suggests that the dollar's outsized role in the international finance has ended. And that was 2009. Now, today, we know that the dollar is facing a lot of pressure from the BRICS, and we're starting to see a lot of discussions around that. The difference is that now, well, we have digital assets, we have crypto, we have CBDCs, we have stablecoins. So now, I think that this change could officially happen. and a super currency could be rising. Could that super currency be XRP? Because XRP is fully decentralized. XRP has a real world utility. XRP could bridge anything of value. XRP could settle anything, of value as well. Like, I mean, this is something that's very interesting at this time because we are nearing a reset. Don't take my word for it. We're already starting to see the IMF, the BIS. They're all talking about this future monetary system, things that, changing. I mean, things are getting very, very interesting. And I've talked about a possibility of change, right? Like, this was a narrative that was getting pushed heavily, and I've talked about this on multiple occasions. And it's based largely on The Death of Money by James Rickards. Okay, and it's adapted for the participation of crypto assets. And what this is gold being priced in around SDRs and the tier 2, which is central bank digital currencies. And this is where a lot of people talk about XRP being the bridge currency. The price of XRP would be defined as a specified quantity of SDRs, just like the local currencies. And again, if we're looking at this, could this be a possibility? And technically speaking, anything is possible. We don't necessarily know what's going to be the end game. All we know is that a new Bretton Woods system is rising, right? Like, we are seeing a new system coming. And I don't even think you need to be in crypto to realize this. Like, I think that going outside and really kind of just looking at things, I think that you can kind of see how things are failing. The traditional world has been it's been failing for decades now. And the question is, like, what's going to happen, right? Because obviously fiat currency is not working out. Inflation is out of control. Central banks don't know really how to manage finance at all, as we are aware. And we question, like, what's going to happen next. And ultimately speaking, like, this is a great way to look at change around the space because it is a practical idea. Remember, this is an idea, speculation. This is not 100% fact, but this could very well work because we already are seeing major central banks accumulating massive amounts of gold. They have been for well over, a decade plus. I think Russia started to accumulate massive amounts of gold back in 2010 initially. And even today, we know that they have been hoarding massive amounts of gold. If gold is the big key here, and we do see an SDR defined as equal to a specified weight in gold, and we kind of fractionalize that, and we see all these central bank digital currencies tied back to that SDR with gold, this could very well put us back on a global gold standard. We could have XRP be a bridge currency, maybe even XLM, maybe even other coins as well. And this could work, right? Like, this could be a big thing. But is this going to happen? We don't know, right? Like, we seriously don't know. But there has been proof that we are seeing things change, right? This is from the United Nations. We do see the UN sets out bold solutions to rescue SDG finance. And this is September 20th, by the way. So this is only a couple days ago. We do see the big objective of the major UN General Assembly meeting is to unlock innovative and practical solutions to close the widening divisions between rich and poor. And they are trying to drive this agenda. We do see financial divide. There's a lot of problems around this. There's a high risk of suffering a financial crisis as well. And this is 1 in 3 countries, by the way, are now at high risk of suffering a financial or a fiscal crisis, not financial crisis. And they're really kind of looking at borrowing, right? Like, borrowing costs. We do see developing countries face borrowing costs up to 8 times higher than developed countries, a debt trap, as they do call it. And 1 in 3 countries around the world is now at high risk of fiscal crisis. Over 40% of people living in extreme poverty are in countries with severe debt challenges. We also know that the debt to GDP ratios are at, like, massive all-time highs. I mean, 300% globally, I believe. And we do see solutions must be systemic. It's clear that the systemic problems of financing for sustainable development require a systemic solution, reforms of the global financial architecture. I mean, this is calling for a new Bretton Woods moment when countries can come together and agree on a new global financial architecture that reflects today's economic realities and power relations. Together, we must turn this moment of crisis into a moment of opportunity, find joint financing solutions to rebuild global solidarity, and create new momentum for sustainable development and climate action. This is the elites confirming that systemic change is coming. New global financial architecture is on its way. And this is from the United Nations. And over here, we do see the UN seeks the path to accelerate the 2030 agenda. Things aren't moving as fast as they want it to be. So now they're pushing this even further ahead. They want to streamline this. So I wonder when this is all going to be set in place. By the way, here we also have from Miles Franklin Co. This goes back to August 10th. Bretton Woods 1.0, Bretton Woods 2.0. Now, Bretton Woods 3.0. Check this out. This got posted by BlackBerry XRP.
Rapidly approaching Bretton Woods 3. Bretton Woods 1 is when the dollar was anointed the world reserve currency at the end of World War II in Bretton Woods, New Hampshire, taking over for the pound sterling. Loosely, Bretton Woods 2 would have been when Nixon closed the gold window and when we struck a deal with the Saudi kingdom, Kissinger did, saying that we will protect you, and for that, you will denominate oil globally in dollars, you and OPEC. That was Bretton Woods 2. And that system is breaking, entering Bretton Woods 3, a system that he calls one that is backed by transparency and commodities, things that are immutable and verified. And much of what he is saying is exactly what you are saying is the perfect currency. And I couldn't agree with you more on all of this. And I think we are rapidly moving in that direction. The Bank of International Settlements, the group that reclassified gold as the world's only other tier one reserve asset in 2019, also said that every country on the planet must have a operational CBDC by 2025. This is where we are going. And I think that to ignore that and to not prepare for what it really means is will be to your own detriment. And so yeah, this is a time of change, and we are right at the footsteps of it right now.
And this is exactly why I don't think a lot of people are awake at this very moment to what's really happening. I mean, listen, I outlined it multiple times over on Twitter, right? Like I even said, like if you ever need a proof on how central banks are only created to screw you, look no further. They want inflation down to 2%, which confirms they want you to lose 2% per year on your money. This is why saving money in a bank account is technically just losing value. And this is all by design. Like they want to collapse this system. Like they are the ones in control of almost all of this. I mean, for history, they have ruined finance, and now they are calling for a reset of their own, right? And what's crazy about all of this is like we've already seen confirmation from the elites around this. Like this is all to screw you. I mean, go and look at the grocery prices from 2021 to 2022 to 2023. I mean, things are up massively. And a lot of people believe that the reset is already happening simply because when you go to the US national debt clock, you could scroll down and you could actually see that they have a dollar to crypto ratio. They have a dollar to crypto ratio from 2013 to now. And then they also have on the right side there, very interesting. They have the M2 to USA ratio, but then they also have above that, they have the BRICS GDP to gold ratio and the G7 GDP to gold ratio. And do you see what's interesting there? The BRICS GDP to gold ratio is about 2 times the amount of the G7. Think about how insane that is. That means that the BRICS are expanding rapidly at this current moment in time. And I believe that this is to possibly scare us. Maybe it's to create a problem. All by design, right? What comes next is we are about to see a major reset of the system, in my opinion. I think that we are. I think that we are gearing up for this. I think that the elites are already telling us this. I think that we already see the United Nations calling for a full-on restructuring of the global financial system. And for those that are not looking at this, for those that are not actually realizing what's going on, they will be left behind. And I've talked about this. They will be wiped out. And I've said it 100 times, and I try to talk to people about this. They just don't realize it. They just don't realize that they think that a 2008 crisis is happening, where we're gonna crash and then we'll bounce back and we'll go higher and we'll do this and do that. Like, there comes a end of the road where, we get to $33 trillion and we kind of look away because, oh, it doesn't matter. Like, we are going to most likely refi on that debt where we have to pay 5% interest instead of what, 2.5, I think. It's a little bit under 2.5. Like, think about what happens then. Then you see taxes getting raised and the cost of living goes up and grocery goes, like, everything is going up around us. Like, do you honestly think that that's just going to be the case forever? And by the way, the wage gap is not going up, it's staying the same, which means you're making the same amount of money, but maybe it was good money 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Now, today, I mean, $100,000 a year today is practically nothing. And I don't mean that to be negative or, say anything. Like, it literally is nothing when you price in cost of living, you price in car payments, mortgage payments, food, utility, and things like that. Like, outside of the US, in a lot of these areas, like $100,000 is a ton of money. But in the US, with inflation, with the cost of living, with everything, like, they are swallowing up the middle class and the lower class. Like, it's becoming a big problem. And this is all by design. They want you to own nothing. They don't want you, being free. They want you in the rat race. But I think that this charade is coming to an end. And I think that they really kind of accelerated this. I think that they are the ones behind this. I mean, think about it realistically speaking, right? Like, who's in control of all of this? The elites. The elites know what they want. They've had this in plan, right? And even now with the BIS talking about the future monetary system, like, you could read into this. Like, they want tokenization. They want, DLT, blockchain. They're talking about API use cases. They're talking about DeFi. They're talking about CBDCs. They're talking about all of this. Do you honestly think that they're just talking about this for fun? No, they're addressing this. They're really, planning this, and they're working with some of the leaders around the space, Ripple being one of them as well. So as we really kind of look at things, yes, in my opinion, a reset is going to happen. It's on its way. It's already probably in progress as well. It's only a matter of time, in my opinion. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. You guys did definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, this has been Nick. Peace out.